So now we come down to one very last part of our this thing, and the last part is that mind your language. What do we mean by saying mind your language? I am not going into very great details about it. When are our words most powerful? Like I say something, why is it that sometimes people listen? To some people listen, to some people don't listen. There is a person A who speaks very simple language and everybody listens to him. He is an illiterate person, uneducated person, and there is a person who is a great scholar. He says so many things and people don't listen to him. Why this happens? Because when there is a complete unison between your thinking, feeling and willing, if what you think is what you feel and what you do, there is a complete unison in that, then your words acquire the preciseness of a dart, the fierceness of a laser beam. They just deep into the heart of the other person, provided you meet this requirement. And unless this happens, we are fractured and not a team in ourselves. If there is a difference between what I say, what I feel and what I do, then I am not a team in myself. If I feel that tomorrow morning I will get up early and I am of this type, then my body will not cooperate. There will be an ache in my knees and my mind will feel drowsy. I will feel, why not sleep a little more? But if I am this type, then of course my body, my mind, they will obey me. This is what will happen. So there is one little thing which we always say, that suppose they are in unison. This is my thinking, this is my feeling and this is my willing. If they are in a straight line, straight line is it? Straight line is a straight line, so I am a straightforward person. So who is a straightforward person? Whose thinking, feeling and willing are in unison. And suppose they are not in a straight line, then what am I? A straight line, this is a crooked line, not a straight, so I am a crooked person. So who is a crooked person? A person whose thinking, feeling and willing, they are not in unison, he is a crooked person. And a person whose thinking, feeling and willing, there is a congruence in them, he is a straightforward person, he is a simple person. So I just give you one example of this. You must have seen the film Gandhi, or if you have not seen the film Gandhi, you must have heard about this incident. Once a farmer with his son comes to Gandhi and he tells him that Bapu, my son eats so much sweets, why don't you tell him not to eat sweets? So he said that bring him after 3 days. After 3 days the fellow brings him back, and when he locates that farmer, he says, yes sir, come in, you have brought your child? He says, yes, I have brought my child. Bring him in, bring him in. So he takes the child in, and then he says that son, we shouldn't eat so many sweets. He says, take him away. He takes him away and comes back, and he said that Babu, if this is all that you wanted to say, you could have as well as said 3 days ago. You know how far I live from here. I walked all the way home and then came back, and now again I have come and now I will again walk back. What is all this? He said, how could I have said 3 days ago? Till that time I was myself taking so much sweets. He was a Gujarati, and Gujarati food is full of sweets. He said, that day I decided I will not take sweets. Second day I tested myself, do I get the urge to take sweets? Third day I just found that there is not even an urge. Second day I have to suppress my urge once in a while. Third day there is no urge also. Fourth day I was entitled to say to a person that we should not eat so many sweets. So those words of they had that fierceness of a laser beam. You must have read or heard about that book by Dominic Lapierre and Collins, Freedom at Midnight. In that book they have written up a lot of research, and they found out, they got hold of that fellow, that boy, and at that time he was an old man. They asked him, do you take sweets? He said no. He said, why don't you take? Bapu has died, your father has died, all the eyewitnesses have died, you are free to take sweets. He said, what? What to think of taking sweets, touching sweets, I don't even think of sweets. That is the level of effect it had on him. So the lesson here is that mean what you say and say what you mean. If you have told your boss you will do it, it is better do it. And if you have told him that okay, I can't do it today, it's okay. But whenever you make a commitment, however small, We think that a commitment should be honored when there is an MOU and there are consequences. No, even the trivial commitments we need to honor. Then only we develop this kind of congruence in thinking, feeling and willing. If you have told your child that once you have finished your homework, review a chocolate, and the child goes to sleep after finishing the homework and you think that one chocolate saved, then that very moment you contract instead of spending. And in the morning if you tell your child that you finish your homework, you are asleep but the chocolate is there intact in the fridge, then that very moment you spend because you are keeping your commitment. And the child is also learning a value by seeing it, because values are taught and not taught. Okay. Keep your words is a thing. Sometimes it so happens that you are not able to keep your word. There is a research paper I read in Harvard Business Review. This all similar. They arrived at similar conclusions. They said that sometimes it is not possible to honor your word. So at that time, if you tell the affected party well in advance that because of these changed circumstances it will not be possible to honor this thing, then also it will be considered as if you have kept your word. It will have the same impact. I mean, we are not talking in legal terms. It will have the same impact. And better still, if you can make good the loss that the person has suffered because of you not honoring their commitment, then it will be a little better. So that is what they advise. So it does not mean that if you said you will do it, and if you are not able to do it, then live with guilt for the rest of your life. No. Because of certain circumstances beyond your control, if you are not able to do it, inform the affected party, potentially affected party, well in advance. If possible, try to make some amends. That's it. So this is very simple little things. Mind your language, what aspect of language that I have covered. Of course, it also means never use condemning words, never use words of depreciation, using affirmative words. This is all comes into minding your language. And in minding your language, when I talk about appreciation, one more thing is there. Say only those things which you trust to be true. That is an essential condition. So many times we appreciate people, oh, you are great. You will top this time, son, you will top this time, knowing fully well he is doing nothing to make that thing happen. So that way you are contracting yourself the moment. But if you have even an iota of truth in what you are saying, then of course that is considered to be speaking truth. So these are some essential conditions, that it should not be displeasing to the other person. There should be a grain of truth into it, what you are saying, and it should of course be benefiting to the other person. And it is not displeasing also, because that is more harmful. Like there is a lame fellow going. There is one simple example often given, that a lame fellow is going and I am very inquisitive type of fellow. So even when it is not my business, that is also my core business. So I tell him, "Arey bhai, lagda kaise ho gaya?" That is one way. So then I am using a language which hurts the other fellow. Now same thing I can say that a person is doing, he is walking like this, and I say कि भाई साहब आपके ये तकलीफ कैसे हो गई? So I am satisfying my curiosity. My purpose is done. There is a truth. Whether you call him lagda or you say that ये तकलीफ कैसे हो गई? The way you put it, that does an immense impact. That has an immense impact on yourself as well as. Yes, these are all the same things. What I am saying is based on Vivek Chudamani. We are not discussing that, but these are the results. These are the ready results, ready tips derived from so many lessons of wisdom in our.
But to be able to say so requires a lot of experience.
Lot of that is the thing, and that experience, that depth you acquire when your control index goes up. Like it is very often said that it is so easy to be unkind, but so difficult to be kind. To be kind, you have to have that immense self-control.